Well, good morning. I'm Katie Jeffries. We are coming on the air with an update on two shootings involving Jacksonville police officers. You're taking a look at scenes from both incidents. Now, on the left side of your screen here in just a moment, you are going to see the first one that occurred on the north side overnight. A 53-year-old woman recovering after police say she shot at officers, prompting them to return fire. Now, 6 officers were involved in that, but none of those officers were hurt. On the right side of the screen is a separate incident, also on the north side. This occurred along Trout River Boulevard and Ribault. Now, we know a press conference with that situation is occurring right now. Let's listen in.
He ended up having to use deadly force on a subject, and I'm going to let Chief Parker give you the information regarding this incident. Chief.
Thank you, Sheriff. So good morning. Like the Sheriff said, they were conducting a traffic deployment, and the officer attempted to conduct a traffic stop near the intersection of Trout River Boulevard and Ribault Scenic Highway. And the suspect pulled into a driveway at the termination of the traffic stop. As the officer was getting out of the vehicle, the suspect opened his driver door. Officer gave him commands to stay in the vehicle, and at that point, the suspect leaned out and began firing rounds at the officer. The officer returned fire. They exchanged gunfire for a few seconds there at that time. The officer sustained an injury to his left foot. His vehicle was struck. He did return fire and strike the suspect multiple times. The suspect he fell inside the vehicle. When other officers arrived, they were able to go up and make contact, secure him. It should be noted he was wearing a bulletproof vest. He had it was like a rifle, looks like it shoots pistol rounds, but they're still processing the scene. He also had a second pistol inside the vehicle with him, so we're not sure which he was firing at the time because it happened so quick. But he had two firearms. He did fire, hit our officer's vehicle, hit the officer in the foot. He is okay. He's at the hospital going through what he's got to go through over there. Multiple rounds fired by both individuals. From what I understand, after they rendered aid with the suspect and got everything under control, rescue responded and continued it. They transported him to a local hospital. He has died from his injuries. I don't have his information yet. From what I understand, we just got him identified, so we'll get that out to you guys through the PIO. I'll give you the officer's information. His name is A.C. Gaulding, G-A-U-L-D-I-N-G. ID number is 68828. Been with us for 15 years. It's his first officer-involved shooting. This is the 4th for the year for us. And the State Attorney's Office is on scene conducting their independent investigation. So with that, that's what we know. You guys, if you have any questions or anything.
Did you say anything about why they pulled him over? Did you say it was a routine traffic thing? Was it a normal traffic stop, or did it have anything to do with him noticing some things out of the ordinary?
No idea what the reason for the stop was. He's at the hospital now, but they were doing a traffic stop, part of the deployment probably. So yeah, it's been a rough couple of days for us. I mean, luckily our officers are okay. Your officers are okay. Every one of these is an individual incident. You know, they all have different criteria driving them. The suspect has a say in these things. You know, this should have never happened. It's a traffic stop. Why does he shoot at the officer? It makes no sense. You know, so he didn't have to do that. Luckily, your officers are okay, and we made it through all these. I think it's noteworthy to notice and mention that crime is still down double digits from last year. So these are just one-off incidents that it comes up.
Was the traffic deployment due to typical speeding, or was there more to it, like a criminal concern?
I don't know the details. Sheriff, do you know whether?
I don't know why they were doing traffic deployment, but traffic deployment is part of what we do. He's a dedicated traffic officer, so he's probably dealing with something that they had a complaint about, or just known speeding spot, known locations. But I think it's very important to stress, this guy had a bulletproof vest. He had bad intentions. This guy had a drum magazine inside that rifle. He had bad intentions. He had another pistol on the seat of his car. So I don't know what he was going to do. I don't know what his plans were, but apparently, and thankfully, our officer was able to stop him and stop him from doing something to someone else. It appears to me that he was on his way to do something to someone else. So fortunately, our officer is safe, and he's hurt, but he's in good spirits, and I'm just glad to see that he made it through this safely.
At this stage, how well or accurate was the lead up to the shooting in terms of what the officer was doing, following protocol, elements like that?
So that's a part of the administrative process. From what I was able to see on body cam, he did what he was supposed to do. And this is the case in most of these situations. We always get a lot of questions about why we were doing something or why he stopped him or whether he was violating policy or whether. The point of this morning is to say he was doing what he's expected to do by the citizens of this community. He shouldn't be shot at for that. Well, because he was shot at, he returned fire and was able to eliminate the threat. Now that person cannot be a threat to anyone else. He's done. And I don't say that not recognizing, I recognize that he has a family. But he put himself in a situation that caused his demise. And I'm glad that our officers did what they did. I'm glad he's safe. And now we're going to let the investigative process take place, the administrative process take place, and we'll go from there.
Sheriff, in your experience dealing with suspects, for a suspect to wear a bulletproof vest, that in general would indicate they're actively in the process of something. I mean, do you ever see suspects in vests? Is that highly unusual?
It's pretty unusual, Scott. We've seen that a couple times, and both times were incidents where the suspect fired at police and had intentions to do harm to one of our police officers. Now, in my mind, I say this: if he's willing to fire at a police officer, he's willing to fire at anyone. So I'm not happy that an officer was hurt, but I am happy that an officer was able to interdict or stop something more egregious from happening in our community.
Other than the guns in the suspect's car, were there any other contraband drugs, or was this vehicle known to have been stolen or involved in other crimes at this point?
So when it comes to searching cars like that, a lot of the stuff that we see now is in plain view. And because there's an investigation that takes place, we have to make sure that we move slowly. We don't just go inside the car and start flipping things around. But the rifle could be seen in plain view. The pistol could be seen in plain view. So to answer your question short, I don't know yet, but that's something that we'll get later.
Just to clarify, you mentioned that the officer had an injury to his left foot. That was from a bullet?
Yes, he was shot in his left foot.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you are listening to Sheriff T.K. Waters along with Chief Alan Parker discussing what happened earlier this morning along Trout River Boulevard near Ribault, an officer-involved shooting. To kind of recap what they said happened, they said there was a traffic stop and the suspect pulled into a driveway, then opened the door and leaned out of the vehicle and began firing at the officer. And that officer did return fire, and the officer was shot in the foot. The suspect, they said, actually had on a bulletproof vest and had two guns in the vehicle as well, and that suspect was hit by rounds and died from his injuries. Now, the officer was transported to UF Health Jacksonville for treatment. Again, that officer was shot in the foot, and it was a 15-year veteran of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So they are working to find out more information about this, more about the suspect as well. And of course, we have a crew on scene, and as we find out more information, we will bring that to you. You can also find the very latest on this story on the First Coast News app. We can send you the link to download it if you want to text the word app to 904-633-2402. Also on First Coast News Plus, we're going to be doing a stream talking about this here in just a moment, going into more details on what we are seeing on the scene. You can download First Coast News Plus through Roku, also on Fire TV and Apple TV as well.